introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching that talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher principal collaboration. Things he gives to you will have you take your drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education, leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation taught to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions of teaching that talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Great day. Welcome to the Speaking Life into You Leadership live stream. I am your host, Dr. Joe Griffin, where we talk leadership dynamics, personal and professional growth, educational trends, and provide solutions to help you with school improvement. Let's go. It is indeed another great day. So excited, you all. So excited. As always, so enthusiastic, so inspired, so elated just to be here, to see you, to have you here with us one more time. Whether you're live or whether you're catching the recording, please sign in. Let us know where you're signing in from. We definitely have a great show for you today. Again, this will be our final show during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also coupled that with Domestic Violence Awareness Month. That's why I have on my pink and my purple today. So you all, we definitely want to close out the month in great fashion. I, like many of you, probably have family members who have suffered from this terrible disease, breast cancer. And I also equate it to the other forms of cancer as well. So I've got an aunt who suffered. I also have a sister who was taken by the deadly disease. So I definitely feel for any of our people who are going through it during the month of October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also, please sign in. Let us know where you're streaming in from. We've got a good one today, you all. We've got an excellent show for you today. And the show today touches on quite a few topics. And one of the topics is math. And math, for me, was a painful thing. It was painful coming up, and for various reasons, mainly because I did not have the SEL tools to equip me with knowing how to take on that challenge. And those are definitely some things we want to interweave in our conversation today. When I talked to you all about the DIP approach for student and adult success, that's DIPP. That's not the same as the DIP approach for educators. This is the SEL curriculum. And in it, dream with desires, the D, the I, initiate and invest in yourself. The first P, push past pain, which is something we're going to look at in a second. And then the last P, persist with purpose. And today, with us talking about math, I just want to quickly look at what it takes to push past pain. And yeah, that's a double entendre. We're talking about pushing past pain, push past pains, but pushing past pain. And this is something had I known as a youngster that you are able to actually have models or modules to help you to be able to push past pain. And that's part of why I created such. And one of the things in pushing past pain, you got to know that roadblocks can't stop you. Just like in math problems, just like in everyday life, because I always like to equate what we do in the educational world to real life, real world experiences. Roadblocks can't stop you. And the next principle under that, which is what goes with math for me, facing your fears. Had I known that there were methods for facing your fears, that resilience is something that you can actually learn. It's something that you build in yourself, that's created from you putting yourself in that situation and actually pushing yourself through it. Learning from those mistakes also applies to math principles, because a lot of times, and in real life, but a lot of times we make those mistakes and we feel like there is no coming back, there is no moving forward. So again, learning from your mistakes, a great SEL principle within the DIP approach for student and adult success that can help people conquer not only things that they're going through in life, but in this instance, the fear of math. Defeat doesn't mean you're defeated. Failure sharpens you. These are all principles that help build you up. And of course, recognizing your trauma, understanding your worth, getting therapy when needed. All of those go together with pushing past pain. And I just want to encourage you today. I just want you all to know that you are worthy. Don't stop. Keep working and push past the pain. And with that being said, I am going to prepare to bring up my guest today. I've got a wonderful, wonderful, extraordinary leader. I'm going to read off a little bit about him here in a moment. Let me pull it back up. Here it is. And Mr. Conley, that's who we have today. Let me pull it back up, you all. This is an extraordinary brother. He's vice principal in Memphis right now. He was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi, where he attended Jackson Public Schools and would eventually graduate from Callaway High School with both an academic and athletic scholarship to Mississippi Valley State University, majored in mathematics. Isn't that wonderful? Later, he received a MBA from Mississippi State University, as well as a master's in educational leadership from Mississippi College. It was during those undergraduate summers that he was teaching algebra in the Upward Bound program that he would actually reject the idea of becoming a teacher. But instead, after finally answering the call, he entered as a Title I high school algebra instructor, where he remained a level 5 teacher, having a strong impact on student achievement. With a growing interest in technology, he stepped out on faith and secured a full-time position with Memphis Virtual School, where he was able to have an impact on student achievement as well as CTE certifications across the district. He later became an assistant principal at Meridian High School. It is there he experienced a high level of professional growth in all areas. Since then, he's accumulated 5 years of leadership experience, 3 on the high school level, 2 on the middle school level. Some of his soft skills: a keen eye for quality instruction, high level of professionalism, a growth mindset. Some of his core values: spirituality, achievement, adaptability, professionalism, and results oriented. Some of his hobbies: being a present father, spending time with family and friends, attending sporting events, and reading both casually and for professional growth. Furthermore, he is a third-generation educator. His family has produced teachers, principals, as well as the first Black superintendent of Oktibbeha County School District. With that, I bring to the stage Mr. Kevin Conley. Great day, Mr. Conley.
Great day to you, Dr. Griffin. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Still don't have the technology piece going. No, we don't. I can't hear you. Let me see. Can I hear you on the line, perhaps?
Dr. Griffin, are you there?
Oh man, we got a good one lined up today. You are. I hope we can get these technical difficulties situated. Okay.
Dr. Griffin, can you hear me now?
I still do not hear you, Brother Conley. That's okay. We may have to get you rescheduled. We can't get it going. Okay. Are you able to say something? Let's see. Can we hear you?
Dr. Griffin, can you hear me now?
Okay. All right. Well, that may not be able. We may not be able to get Brother Conley in tonight. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Even with that, you can hear. They say they can hear you, Brother Conley. Speak up again. Maybe it's me. I can't hear you.
If they can hear me, Doc, I'm going to say let's proceed. If they can tell
Okay,
you
let
that
me
they
see
hear
something
me,
then.
then I'll say let's go with it.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Houston. That's Dr. Houston. Create, educate. Try it now, Mr. Conley.
Loud and clear. Sound check.
I still don't hear you. Let me see. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna see. Can I put it on my?
If anybody in the audience can hear me, if you'll tell Dr. Griffin that you can hear me, I'm going to suggest we go ahead and proceed.
Can you say something now?
Ready? Check, check.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Yeah. They hear you. We good to go.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go. Can you hear me now? Still?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. So I'm gonna have a little lag just because I'm on the phone and on the computer. Okay, perfect. All right, so Mr. Conley, we are excited to have you. Thank you. I'm definitely have to get that figured out. When students feel supported, though, we're gonna go ahead and get our conversation kicked off. When students feel supported emotionally, we know that they're able to thrive academically as well. What are some things that you have seen to integrate SEL that also impact academics?
Well, let me tell you what I've seen, Dr. Griffin. Some of the effects of a successful implementation of an SEL program, some of the effects I've seen can be noticed in the hallway. Things such as increased student morale, decrease in minor infractions between students and teachers that would normally escalate and turn into a situation where we're talking about having to issue consequences. Along with that, a more nurturing a more positive growth mindset. Earlier, I heard you mention, positive mindset. Some of the domains in a lot of the new SEL curriculums talk about growth mindset, positive mindset, how to handle conflict, how to solve problems, how to manage your emotions, how to identify when you need to step away and get yourself together, for lack of a better term, just having that self-awareness. Now, the the other part is what type of implementation strategy works best. For me, some of the things that I've seen, Dr. Griffin, um, personally, it all starts with building some excitement around whatever SEL curriculum you decide to go with. Uh, the students have to see that you're excited about it. The students have to hear that you're excited about it. And from there, I believe it starts with the leaders. We have to start from the top and create our own SEL team full of teachers. Find out some of those teachers who are interested in helping to gear up this initiative. Create some time for those teachers to meet to get a better understanding of the adopted curriculum. Um, Give time to dissect some of the information because it can be a lot. It can be a lot, but I also have some strategies for that as well, especially when you're overwhelmed. But it starts with creating that leadership team, that SEL team, diving into their curriculum, pulling out those things that are applicable to the students that you serve, because having a pulse on your school, on your students' behavior, can help you to differentiate which way you need to go. All students don't need conflict resolution. Some of them might need something to build up their self-esteem.
Mhm.
So again, it starts off with creating that team, being intentional. I would even go as far as to say having a select day per week. For me, it's always been Wellness Wednesday. It just sounds cool, and the kids say it, and it just sticks. But man, you can come up with whatever catchy phrase you want to call it, but being consistent, building building it into your plan, getting those teachers on board, putting it in that weekly memo. Um, we've even gone so far as to make an announcement. Teachers, now it's time for our Wellness Wednesday activity. Kind of like a stop and drop. Stop what you're doing. Everybody on board, all hands on deck. Let's dive into the curriculum. So, uh, those are some of the things that I've seen in terms of the benefits of SEL implementation, and those are just a um, few tips I would say for somebody who is trying to get some type of SEL curriculum up and running in their building. I hope
Definitely.
that helps. I hope it helps.
Definitely. Oh, that helps a lot. You shared a lot of great information right there. And just to kind of add to what you said, the National Institute of Health states that SEL programs, that social emotional learning programs, help increase academics by 11 to 17%. So those leaders out there who are thinking that SEL programs don't have impact on academics, or that they are, uh, for a lack of a better word, a waste of time, or not adding value to what they do in the school, I definitely encourage you to look at that article and that information provided by the National Institute of Health, because we're in a new phase in education now, Mr. Conley. It's no longer where it doesn't matter how you are, and you're supposed to come to work and do what you need to do anyway, or you're supposed to come get the uh, skills and the grades that you know you're supposed to have if you're not well.
That's right.
It just
That's
doesn't
right.
happen. And what are some practical ways that you try to integrate it within your program without sacrificing academic rigor?
Well, you know, um, again, Dr. Griffin, it starts with the leader of the building. I work with a phenomenal leadership team, a phenomenal principal, assistant principals, leadership teams, members of the ILT. And one thing that I lean on is not making it the bulk of what you intend to teach that particular day. For example, as a math teacher, if I'm a math teacher, knowing that I have to drill down on solving systems of equation by graphing, but it's also my Wellness Wednesday for me to implement. I'm not going to devote my entire instructional time to that SEL activity. What it looks like for me is going in maybe the night before to familiarize myself with exactly what the demands are for that particular activity for the day, and clipping it where I can clip it from, but not taking away from the impact of of reaching each and every student. So versus a 55-minute or 60-minute lesson on making the best decision when you're under stress or something like that, perhaps the first 10 minutes of that classroom is going to still address that domain, but I can kind of differentiate it to fit that time frame and simply facilitate a discussion where kids come in, instead of having a do now activity geared towards math. What if I make my do now activity a discussion question that surrounds the topic for the day, where kids can talk to each other for 10 minutes and share out, and we can still touch on those key takeaways, and then we can move on with solving systems of equations by graphing. Um, because we know we cannot get away from the instructional piece, and we definitely can't let the rigor sit by the wayside. We have to continue to push our students academically, and it starts with that depth of knowledge that you uh, um, create those lessons and those activities for whatever content area you teach. But again, uh, clipping, clipping, differentiating, making it fit within a time window that's suitable for you and your students, so that it doesn't stretch out and take away from your focus.
I love it. I love it. What I heard was a detailed agenda that addresses all of the objectives, inclusive of the SEL point of focus.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh
But it
man, that's
requires a
great.
little homework too, Dr. Griffin. The teacher, the leader, we can't wait until the day of to open up that email and say, "Oh, I'm supposed to teach this." You really have to be intentional, perhaps the night before, maybe the week before. Um, but again, just being intentional with it, and and making it a top priority. You have to make it a top priority, and you also can't make it just something else for teachers to do, because we all have plenty to do. Been there, done that. So just having fun with it, celebrating when the building is fully implementing, having celebrations, making shout outs, going around, taking pictures of teachers and kids, and just um, putting teachers in the spotlight as well
Mhm.
as the students when the implementation is taking place successfully.
Definitely empowering educational communities. I love it. I
Come on
love it.
now. Come
Yes,
on.
yes. That's what
Come
it's
on.
all about.
Come on.
Collaborating at the highest level, putting people in positions where they're successful, empowering them, and celebrating them, like you just said.
Celebrate them.
And right here, I'd like to get some crowd input. What are some of the strategies that you all use to impact academic success? What are some strategies that you use to impact academic success? Talk to us. We got a little wait time right here. Definitely want to hear some of your comments. Embedded SEL is the best. Definitely, definitely. Thank you for that, Dr. Houston. Definitely. It is the best. It is the best. What are some other strategies? What are some strategies that you all are using out there? And as we kind of wait on some more feedback from that, Mr. Conley, first off, thank you for that great answer. But I know
Thank
that
you.
math and technology are your passions, are two of your passions. I'm sure you have many others as well. And kind of like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, math brings out a lot of emotions from people. It'll put you in a situation. I majored in English primarily because I knew that math at that time wasn't for me at that time. You know, I'm at a different stage in my life now where I'm facing all my fears, I'm taking on all my challenges. I believe I can accomplish anything, you know, and all of that. But that's not where all of our students are.
No,
And I know that
absolutely not. Absolutely
for
not.
me to get to that point, it took a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations. It was not something that happened overnight. I, at this point, I feel like I could try a calculus problem or a hard algebra problem, but I didn't always have that confidence that I could even learn it. So with that being said, how do you or what are some ways that you can pair math and technology to be both engaging and exciting for our students?
Math and technology. Dr. Grill, that's a great question. But let me back up. You mentioned that you majored in English to stay away from math. Mine was the complete opposite. I majored in math to stay away from English because, you know, thankfully, thankfully, some principal, some author created a book that helps me draft my emails because I'm not the best when it comes to putting out my messages. Sometimes they can be blunt, too direct, too indirect, but thankfully there's a cheat sheet for people like me. But to answer your question, math, math and technology and ways to increase engagement. You know, I think it begins with, I hate to sound redundant, Dr. Griffin, but it begins with the leadership team, uh, the district that you work in, the district level math coaches and the instructional coaches for that particular content. It starts with them and it trickles down into the building. Uh, luckily, luckily, having a math background has assisted me in moving forward. But in terms of engagement, Dr. Griffin, the t- principal had to be on board, had to be able to provide our old and new teachers with the resources and the up-to-date tools and technologies that our students are are that are easily accessible for our students. One of my top four, top five. I give you top five, top five.
Okay.
My um, and these particular platforms are not in order from my favorite. Man, these are just my top five. If I come into your classroom, math class, and I see you have it on your board and kids with their cell phones out engaged, then I already know that the engagement is there. The first one is Kahoot. Kahoot is just a uh, online platform where teachers can create some of the most amazing activities for students to engage
Mm-hmm.
right there live. And the cool thing about these top five, all of these are live per se with instant feedback for the teacher. Uh, Kahoot. Let me just stay on track. Kahoot is there. Also, there's another one called Quizzes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure every educator has heard of it. Quizzes allows you to basically, uh, again, build activities, build assignments, build tests, build quizzes, create competitive games there in your classroom. There's nothing more exciting to me than walking into a classroom, math or science, and the left side of the room versus the right side of the room, and all of them have their cell phones out because you showed me all kids might not have laptops, but for the most part, you show me a kid that does not have a cell phone, and I'll show you a unicorn, Dr. Griffin. So, for the most part, all of our kids have cellular devices, and it's fairly step by step simple for teachers to set it up, share the code for students to log in right there live and see themselves on the big screen participating. That's the type of engagement that the students that I serve need. And I like to think there's somebody on the call who agrees that all students need that type of engagement opportunity. So Kahoot, quizzes, Nearpod, love seeing Nearpod. Nearpod is, man, the students can leave their thoughts on the board for everybody to see, which to me helps
Mhm.
that particular type of learner who might not like to raise his or her hand, you know, or speak aloud. But man, you put a cell phone in their hands and you allow them to give their feedback silently, man, they'll sometimes fill your whole screen up, you know. So when I say engagement, Dr. Griffin, I mean students are locked in, distraction free, um, participating in whatever that math lesson or science lesson or whatever the lesson may be. Uh, they're linked to it through technology. Does that make sense?
Oh yes.
Okay, okay, good. Um,
Make
for all my math people, Desmos is a free online resource, graphing calculator. You know, you're in a school that the funding, perhaps you got issues with there. You got a room full of calculators, but you don't have any batteries. Those students have devices. Those students have devices in math class. They can graph, um, solve, manipulate, and see what happens through technology when you begin to make minor manipulations to a math problem. Oh, it causes the graph to go up. Oh, now I see what happens when I change my coefficient from a. Oh, okay, I see what the slope does now that it's positive when it was negative. It just helps to bridge that that gap that sometimes is there from who knows what, Dr. Griffin. I served a student body, ninth graders, one year who didn't have an eighth grade teacher at all. So, you know, factor in COVID, of course, but just
Mhm.
just not knowing where they come from, understanding where they come from, and having some type of counter to that just makes their learning experience a little bit less stressful. My last one, Dr. Griffin, is Canvas. I love Canvas, but Canvas is more like a robust system. Man, you can
Mhm.
run a whole school district on Canvas.
Yeah.
And Canvas probably can house all of the platforms I just named. So Canvas is something that is dear to me. You know, I started off with Canvas back before COVID. Uh, it's just a cool teacher thing where you can geek out and build your own math class, build your own quizzes, put your own YouTube videos, or if you like me, create your own videos and quizzes and post discussions. Man, it's just like a hub where teachers can become very creative, and reach, you know, students not just in the building but also outside the building as well. Especially during that COVID time, you know, it was
Yeah.
vital during that COVID time being able to reach those students outside of the building because, man, we all went through it. You know, it's not particular to me. It's everybody who was in education.
Right. Right. Awesome. Awesome. And you just touched on quite a bit there with those various technology platforms.
I got
Uh,
excited, Doc. I got
oh,
excited.
that's okay. I love the excitement. I love the passion.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I heard you talk about in so many words was scaffolding for students because you said that you had a class that missed eighth grade, and I've had that experience as well. And you have to try to still prepare them for the content that they need. So that was actually a earlier topic that we had, in, I think maybe week 5 or 6, where we talked about scaffolding instruction for teachers as well as for students, because those teachers need those different practices scaffold for them as well. And we'll get to that piece here in a little bit. And I
Absolutely.
also heard you talk about when you were talking about Nearpod, the power of being able to see the thoughts of others. See,
Powerful.
collaboration, we live through with other people. We go places, we reach goals all of that through teams, through being able to learn from others' experience, be able to build off of others' things that they have done. And as they say, I think it was Newton said, we stand on the shoulders of giants. So I heard that collaborative piece with Nearpod, and I really like that, because that may have been something that would have helped a student like myself
Absolutely.
had I had that back in the day. If I could see the thoughts
Absolutely.
of some of the other students and see
Absolutely.
what they were thinking or not thinking, to kind of help me push forward and not be at a standstill.
To add to
And
that, Dr. Griffin, to add to what you're saying, it will also make you feel more comfortable within yourself to know that, oh, he has the same thoughts that I have. So I'm not battling with this math
phobia.
phobia by myself. You know, yeah,
Oh
man,
yeah.
look, uh, everybody likes a little company. If I'm struggling in class, if I can find somebody struggling too, maybe we can come together and share and grow together. But
Yeah.
being able to see what somebody else is thinking, man, that's powerful. It's
That is.
transparent. It's
That is
transparent.
powerful. That is powerful.
Absolutely.
I like that. So technology is not just about the tools, but it's about how we make the learning relevant and exciting. You just talked about some of the platforms that you use. So I would like to engage the crowd right here. Tell us what some of the platforms that you're using, some of the platforms that you're using to engage your students, math, technology, and how often. How often do you use them? How often do you use them? I want some crowd input here.
Please share.
Yeah, share. What are some different platforms that you all are using? And kind of moving along as well as we kind of wait on some input. Uh, Getting engagement is different from keeping that engagement.
That's right.
So it's kind of like commitment. Commitment is staying true to that same feeling down the line that you had when you initially come into something. Same thing with student engagement. How do you keep that engagement and staying? What advice would you give to those teachers who want some long-term engagement with students in, say, math and STEM using technology?
Dr. Greer, that's a great question. That's um just just in thinking on the spot, Dr. Griffin, being able to give you a response right now by embedding some of those tools that we just mentioned, I think we can do a better job of doing an inventory of our student interests so that we're not shooting in the dark. What I mean by that is doing some type of interest survey or inventory to get to know your kids, to get to know some of the things that they like that pertain to math, to get to know some of the things that they like that pertain to STEM, what type of problems they're facing out in the community. Uh, so one thing would be getting to know those students' interests, and then from there creating some type of system where those students can uh, take the lead in bringing some of that to the classroom. You know, shift. Here you go. Shift some of that cognitive load over to the student. Hey, y'all go out and you find something that you like about math or STEM, and you bring it to the table, and let's create our own um, activities surrounding that. Typically, if they have the autonomy to go out and find their own, man, it's gonna come back creative. They're
Yeah.
gonna be more vested in it. You know, um, Don't let it be a problem in their community, man. Man, they will band together, and we talk about collaborating. Sometimes you can't get them to stop talking about it. Uh, just allowing them to go do their research, bring it back to the table, but don't just bring back your answers and your problems. Man, let's bring back solutions.
Mhm.
You know, let's see if we can reverse engineer from where it is now to how it got there to see if we can make it better for the next, class or the next generation. So, uh, developing a system to do like a class inventory to see what their likes are pertaining to math and STEM, shifting that load from the teacher over to the student, um, to give them the autonomy to go out and do all that heavy lifting to bring it back to the classroom. Because a lot of times we think we teach, we have to do everything. We got to talk the whole period. Man, we got
Yep.
to talk, 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 talk. Mm-mm,
Mm.
mm-mm. I tell teachers all the time. I tell teachers all the time, Dr. Griffin, uh, new and old, if you leave the building at the end of the day and you just dead tired, we need to sit down and reevaluate exactly what you're doing.
Mhm.
Because I'm a firm believer it should be the other way around. Those
Yeah.
kids should leave their classroom like, man, the greatest compliment that I'm pretty sure teachers can share. The greatest compliment to receive as a teacher is when your kids say, "Man, all we do is work in Dr.
Work.
Griffin class." I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. It excites me. Um, that lets me know I'm having an impact on student achievement.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. And that feeds right into our next line of the discussion where we kind of graduate from academics and SEL success, how that relates to math and technology, but also the teachers who are pushing those concepts, ensuring that they are equipped, that they have what they need, that they have been professionally developed, that they
Mm.
have the support that they need. All that is crucial for academic and SEL success. How do you ensure that the feedback is constructive and not overwhelming, especially when it comes to new teachers? I know that's one of your passions as well.
I love new teachers. I love new teachers. You know, I love new knowledge. It doesn't matter. Anybody who has their classroom on lock, and I don't have to, you know, frequent that classroom for reasons outside of academics. Thank you. Um, Feedback, Dr. Griffin, to for me, let me start by saying I've been lucky. I've worked for principals who have, you know, imparted their wisdom upon me and shared things with me. And all this is just sharing, which is really why I love your show. All this is sharing information.
Yeah.
Um, Making that feedback digestible. What I mean by that, I'm not gonna give you a whole ton of feedback and say, hey, you have to do this and 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 do this. Let me just give you two things.
Hmm.
Two things. Let me give you two glows, two things you did phenomenal. Two things you did phenomenal. And let me give you two grows, two things to grow in. Let me give you that. But prior to me giving you that, let me come into the conversation and hey, I have high expectations for myself. And because of that, I also have high expectations for you, the teacher. So start off like that. There from there, two grows, two glows, and more importantly, give a time frame of when you're gonna circle back. You know, hey, I want to see you shorten your do now to this and create a check for understanding at this point. I'll be back on the 30th of October during your third period class to see for implementation. Now I have perhaps given you a SMART goal, um, something that is time specific, measurable. You know when I'm coming, and it's not like oh, he just came and gave me a ton of stuff and now he's gone just to say I got him off. He's observed me. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so being intentional with giving actionable items for teachers to fully implement.
Mm-hmm.
I think I answered your question, Doctor. I think I gave
you
make it
definitely did.
digestible.
You definitely
And
did, and I
make
want
it
to push it.
frequent. Make it frequent.
Make it frequent. Make it
Make it
frequent.
frequent.
Yeah.
Does not
It's
have to be a long conversation. It could just be a short email. Hey, great job today. Man, I saw that you had struggled with this. Check out this cool video I found about this. And things like that. Help them build their tool, their tool belt. Give
I
them the
love it.
tools.
I love it. I love it. It's not a one-time event. It has to be continual. You have to do it over and over again.
Absolutely.
That's one of the key principles of collaboration that I tout pretty much weekly. And just to kind of push it a little bit further than just identifying the areas for improvement, because we know that we're going to give them some grows and some grows, just as you said. How do we now balance that encouragement and motivating to ensure that they are still focused on growing and developing?
Growing and developing, I think by modeling it first, I can't honestly try to encourage you or motivate you to do this when I'm not modeling growth myself. So I'm not going to encourage somebody to go out and get a master's in educational leadership if I don't have a master's in educational leadership, or if I can't model what it takes, the type of discipline and commitment that it takes to achieve a goal. So for me, it starts with modeling. That motivates some. Heck, it motivates me. If there's something that I want to achieve, if I see somebody achieving something that I thought about it, that's encouraging. That's encouraging. And it also motivates me to not be afraid to step out there and try something different. So yeah, in terms of motivation, in terms of keeping them growing and developing their craft, one of the ways that I love to help new teachers continue to grow is to set the expectation that I'm going to continue to come. I'm going to drop into your classroom. It's not going to be I'm going to come, when it's time for me to observe you. Right. I might come in your classroom and I'll go in algebra classes and teach. If I see it, now, some of the stuff I don't remember, but a lot of it, if I see you teaching as an algebra teacher and I see you on it, and I can come in and just add some small little tidbits to it, it encourages the students, and man, it blows the teacher away. Hey, I have a leader who's in here shoulder to shoulder with me, sweating with me to help the same students. So it's, I guess you could say, Doc, it all goes back to modeling, because to me, that's modeling as well. Going into a classroom, teaching, just modeling professionalism and growth mindset, Dr. Griffin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, what's some feedback that you received early on in your career that made a difference when you were early in education? What advice, what feedback were you given? I can remember Mr. Roosevelt Ramsey, he told me that I was a leader and I should be helping or basically taking care of all of the other teachers. And that put me in a leadership mind frame early on. He said, why are you sitting back allowing that to occur, Griffin? You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And this is like my second year on the job, second year in education. So it empowered me to start thinking early and often about being that leader. So I didn't know at that time that was what was happening, but it actually turned out to be a great experience. And about 6 years in, I was in leadership. And a lot of that I can now look back and say, because he kind of thrust me on out there. He told me to do it. Now, as we kind of get ready to fuse everything together, the academics, the math, the new teachers who have to deliver those academics as well as the math,
That's right.
we know that that kind of creates to a holistic or supportive school environment, and that no strategy works in isolation or without the corresponding mindset. What advice would you give our teachers and our leaders who are on the call as we prepare to bring our conversation to a close today?
What advice would I give regarding how to bring everything together?
Yes, yes.
The academic, SEL practices, and I think you said engaging technology and teacher development.
Mhm.
Dr. Griffin, I would say for teachers, for leaders, man, I consider myself a young leader, Doctor. I'm what five, I don't know, 5 years in,
Yeah.
and I think I just have this long road ahead of me. I don't know. I just feel like it's just an ongoing thing for me. Like
It never
there's no
is.
destination. Well, not yeah. There's no end point. It's just a continuous thing.
You'll always grow.
Always, always. It starts there. Um, the a piece of advice that I would give immediately for leaders, including myself, is if I'm talking about begin to talk about the next school year now.
Mhm.
Start planning your your what what company you're going to go with for SEL. Perhaps you're switching vendors. Which vendor? Have those vendors come in and put a little pressure on them to sell you on their program. Perhaps they have a free demo. Most of them do. You know,
Mhm.
they all want the business, and the best is the one. The cream rises to the top. Terms of your academics, that master schedule, that master. Start talking about the master schedule for next year now. Be intentional with building in your SEL. Be intentional with whatever the content is, math, science, well, perhaps not English, but sticking to math and science. Uh, start researching those conferences for next year now. Start researching now. Um, find Go and identify those strong teachers, the ones who are doing the work, the ones who are showing the work effort. They're showing up every day. Perhaps they're not the best yet, man, but who is? Man, the way our students change, you can be hot one year, and next year you get a whole crop of kids, and you just can't find that way to relate. Start now. Start now developing those teacher development teams. Start now planning those that peer observation where all the new teachers get a chance to go visit a seasoned teacher next year. Start now. Don't wait until school starts and then you begin to have your admin meetings. And now we're talking about this stuff in real time. And now, man, we all know when the kids come, whew, man, you have
Yeah.
to, man, when the kids come, all the things we're talking about, you almost need to have it in place,
Yeah. Yeah.
etched in stone. So the best piece of advice again would be to begin now planning for those things for the upcoming school year.
Awesome. Awesome. What I heard was begin with the end in mind. You know,
Oh, I ain't
begin
want
with
to
the
sound
end in mind.
cliches.
You
I ain't want
know,
to sound
hey,
cliches. That's
that's all
right.
right because it really matters because when you start with the beginning in mind and and just because it's a statement, you don't live it as a cliche. You want to live it as what it really is. You really want to have the end in mind, and now you're going to put that action plan in place to work towards it. I believe your professional development should be scheduled out for the whole year. You just
Yes,
make
sir.
adjustments as needed. You know, I just believe in that year-long plan, and then we come back and we can add, we can delete as necessary. But when you have that agenda already done, that plan already done, it just adds so much value to what you're able to do and what you're able to accomplish. And
Absolutely.
with that being said, Brother Conley, in case someone wanted to reach out to you for uh, whatever it is, I know you will take on any offers or what have you, what they may perhaps need you for. But how can they contact you?
Uh, Social media. I'm not the tech guy. Yeah, I love technology and clap. I'm not the Twitter. Uh, the best way for me, Dr. Greer, I'm old fashioned in terms of things like that. I'm willing to share and be shared with. Is good old fashioned email. The best email for me, I would say, send it to my work email. I can give you two of them. Conley K, Conley K at scsk12.org. Conley K at scsk12.org, or my personal email, Kevin Conley, all one word, KevinConley at live, which is an extension of Hotmail, live.com. If I get an email from anybody who needs well, to share something with me, like I said, Doc, I do not have it all figured out. I'm a work in progress. I learn from leaders, and I'm just thankful that you took it upon yourself to invite me on your show to share some of the things that I've learned over this journey.
Oh, my pleasure, and I'm thankful that you accepted the invite. I'm thankful that you were able to share and add value to our viewers, and just happy to be here. I'm in a space where it's all about giving back. Like I
Come on.
said, I did almost 15 years in that principal seat, so now I feel like it's my duty to serve. You know, right now I'm here in Boston, Massachusetts, getting ready to
Wow.
go to Chicago next week, doing a little consulting here, and next week I'll be in Chicago, presenting for the Innovative School Summit, Dip Approach Schools Transformation, Discipline Culture Plus, Instructional Practices Equals Performance. That's DIPP. So again, I'm thankful for that. And just as we close, I definitely want to encourage leaders to contact me about the Global DNA Behavior Leadership Assessment. This is an assessment that will change the way you do things, but also accelerate the collaboration within your leadership. We have communication preferences that are outlined with the results. It actually goes so far as to tell you the best way to present information to those that are on your team. It increases your self-awareness level so that you can be the best leader that you can be. I've taken basically all of the different strength assessment, leadership assessment, and not just because I'm a global leadership certified coach, am I saying that this is the best one. The results prove it. Come with 15-page report and other coaching techniques as well. So I want to always tout that. Also, I want to encourage and ask the viewers to, if you have not purchased my books on educational leadership, again, a different approach for educator success manual, and then the newest book, Empowering Educational Community, a guide for teacher principal collaboration. You all, it comes with the professional development to match the chapters. I could not have done this without the Spirit of God. It was just a blessing to be able to put those words on paper for you all. But that's going to help you with your book studies, help educational departments, and so forth. So again, all of that is for you. And then the SEL curriculum. Today we actually talked about SEL, the DIP approach for student and adult success. And then the accompanying guidebook. So you got the activity book, that covers those 33 principles that fall under the DIP: dream with desire, initiate and invest in yourself, push past pain, persist with purpose. And then the guidebook is the accompanying reader. So again, that those are our resources, and then the Spirit, Heart, and Soul collection for your organizational leadership piece. Integration of the arts as therapy. Spirit, Heart, and Soul collection of poetry. With that being said, I definitely want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Stay motivated, stay inspired, keep doing what you're doing. Somebody needs you. Push past the pain and keep delivering education to those who need it. Peace and much love.
Peace.
All right. Let me see. End stream.